I don't know a single person who isn't afraid of dying alone. I personally think about the future a lot, and I know a lot of seniors who talk about feeling lonely all the time, and the more I think about it, the more it gets me nervous, because when I get to that point, when I get to that age, am I gonna feel the same? So I wanted to know why people don't talk about senior loneliness.
Call grandma. Go visit grandpa. You know, let grandma pinch your cheeks. And I can remember my grandmother, she would grab my face and she would look at my face and she'd shake my head, but I thought she was gonna push my cheeks together. I would get anything for my grandma to do that one more time, because I miss it, and I miss her.
In 2016, there were more people aged 65 and older than there was children aged 0 to 14 for the first time ever. By 2041, seniors will have the highest mental illness rate in the country. And the number of seniors expected to need care and help will double in the next 30 years. I wanted to know more about loneliness among the seniors of 2019, so I spoke to a few in the GTA to hear directly from them. I reached out to Olga and Ross through a community group in my hometown, and they were super willing to share their experiences and chat with me.
Hi, I'm Olga, and this is Mr. George Knox, who got dressed up for the day. Didn't you, baby? Yes, you did.
Hi, I'm Ross Yellard. My dad and I were members of the Barbershop Society. When he passed away at the age of 57 in 1981, Trudy and I got married at the Oakville Hospital so that he could be there.
But I needed someone who could sort through all this research that I had. So I sat down with clinical psychologist Rokach.
We used to think that the elderly are the loneliest of all, and apparently no. Old age can be divided into three parts. They're the young old, from 65 to 74. They are the old, from 75 to 84. And then they are the old, from 85 and up. And apparently the first two groups are not lonelier than the rest of the population. Some of them still work, they have friends, they have mates, they have fun, they're okay. The old are the ones that we're concerned about. It's the age where they start to lose mates. They start to lose their friends. They may be experiencing health problems.
I wish I was more motivated to do stuff. I don't know if it's depression or not. I just can't get around like I used to. Trudy would tell me, that's my wife, would definitely say that I aspire to be lazy. I'm afraid of being in pain, you know, more than anything else. So if I don't exert myself, I won't be in pain.
I find myself isolated, alone. I guess alone. I don't really feel that I'm isolated because I don't understand that sort of concept, but I do find myself alone a lot. Most of my friends, or a lot of my close-knit friends, I've lost in the not too distant past. I miss them, and I miss being with them, and so therefore I haven't been able to replace those friendships, because those were long time friendships that went on forever that I thought would never end.
There is a huge stigma, and part of the way I see my role in doing loneliness research is to try and get loneliness out of the closet. Problem with the stigma of loneliness is that people will talk about all kinds of things, even severe disturbances like schizophrenia, depression, fears, but they won't talk about loneliness, and the reasoning goes something like that. Our society adores success. If I feel lonely, that means that no one wants to be in my company. If no one wants to be in my company, that may indicate that I'm no good or something is missing in me. Other people who see me lonely may not want to be associated with me for fear that they will be termed losers as well. So there are millions of people walking around lonely, in pain, and nobody talks about it. And now we're getting slowly, the media is catching up, and that will help people start to say, yeah, I'm lonely, just like I'm sad, or I broke a leg, and I want to do something about it. And all kinds of things can be done about it.
I heard of this girl who's in my program at school, and she has a business that is all about senior companionship, which is just one way to reduce senior loneliness.
Before I started my business, I was doing a lot of primary research, and I found this one terrible statistic, and that it was saying that on average, a lot of elderly people will pass within 1 to 3 years after retirement because they lose purpose, and a lot of times people, they find their identity in their job. And then when they retire and they no longer work in that job that they worked for who knows how many years, 30 to 40 years, they lose that meaning that they had in their life, and it ends up making their health physically, mentally, and emotionally decline. And unfortunately, it causes a lot of elderly people to then pass, and they don't have that care and support like they used to sometimes from family and friends. So our goal and mission is to help elderly people to maintain that sense of purpose and meaning in their life all the way until their last breath.
Loneliness is now considered an epidemic. It's a very serious problem, and there's some research that are saying that it has effects on health as bad as cigarette, diabetes, or overweight. Usually I'm asked who are the loneliest groups in our society. So the loneliest group are what we call emerging adults, who are people from 18 to about 26. They're kind of not kids anymore, they're not fully adults anymore, they don't know exactly what they're going to do in life. Some of them have a romantic partner, some of them don't, some of them are confused. They feel pretty lonely. They're the loneliest group in our society.
While I was making this video, I learned that this topic is a lot more complex than I thought. You know, a lot of people are talking about loneliness among millennials, and they forget to look at loneliness among seniors. You know, by spending time with them, by giving them that company and companionship, we're showing our appreciation and also just showing that we care about them, because they're important people in our society as well.
There was one client, she was my second client I ever had, and usually with my clients, new clients, we always do a free half-an-hour consultation, and basically the purpose is to get to know the client and they can ask you any questions before you start helping them. And I went to speak with her, and it was supposed to be only a half an hour, and I was there for 3 hours. And she was just expressing to me of how relieving it is to finally have a conversation with someone, because when you don't have a spouse or any kids or any family or friends coming to visit you and you're living all alone as an elderly person, sometimes you don't even hear your voice for like a week or several days on end.
But why don't we talk about senior loneliness? We've already cast them aside as people who've done their part in society, and you know, like me said, we're also afraid of being isolated.
Youngsters have grandparents, and grandparents many times, depends on the family and on their community, but many times they feel like they are thrown aside by society. And it would be wonderful if the grandchildren, the youngsters, would be with them, not just because they get money and they get goodies and they get a kiss, but because they could do something with them and for them and help them in their older years not to feel so isolated and almost irrelevant to society.
I strongly encourage you to like, subscribe, and comment, and to pick up your phone and call your grandma or your grandpa or just a senior in your life, just anyone. Pick up the phone and call them, because I promise you, it will make their day 10 times better.
You'll do two things. Number one, you'll learn something, hopefully, and number two, you'll make my day so much better because you came to visit.